From Storm Tracker 6, this is Forecast First, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
Well, we're looking a little bit gloomy out there across the area for this evening. We're looking at temperatures into the 30s, 35 degrees all the way around from Lansing to Jackson, down into Hillsdale and even Grand Ledge. Our satellite radar looks like we had some snow showers move through, but we didn't. We just had some dry air, and that's called Virga overall. And we're going to continue to see those cloudy skies each and every hour coming up, and we'll continue to see those cloudy skies in the forecast for the start of the work week. All the details coming up in just a little bit. 6 News at 6 starts right now.
WLNS is here for you with 6 News at 6.
More federal positions cut and more people out of work, and tonight employees are being asked to justify their jobs. It's our top story at 6. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Dalen Huff. President Trump and Elon Musk are continuing to push their efforts to shrink the federal government, now asking millions of federal employees to justify their jobs in order to keep them. Christine Benavidez is here for you now and reports on some of the pushback.
In an email Saturday announced first by Elon Musk with a post on X, federal workers were given until Monday to explain what they got done last week or risk losing their jobs. Only hours earlier, President Trump wrote online he wanted Musk to get more aggressive with federal cuts. Republican Utah Senator John Curtis said while he agreed with cutting spending,
if I could say one thing to Elon Musk, it's like, please put a dose of compassion in this. These are real people. These are real lives. These are mortgages. It's a false narrative to say we have to cut and you have to be cruel to do it as well.
The threat by Musk prompted backlash by unions representing federal workers, and at least 2 federal agencies told their employees to disregard the email. On Saturday, President Trump met with state leaders at the National Governors Association dinner. He's seeking their support to carry out his mass deportation plans.
We also want your assistance on public safety, especially removing foreign terrorist organizations from America, removing some really bad guys and bad people from America, and we're going to get them out for you.
On Sunday, CBS News learned that the Trump administration is preparing to bring back Title 42, which would allow border officials to quickly deport migrants seeking asylum at the border over what the U.S. calls public health risks. Christian Benavides, CBS News.
Border officials told CBS News this week that the U.S. has been recording fewer than 300 illegal border crossings per day. Recently, a more than 90% drop from February 2024. And while the cuts continue here in the U.S., the fighting continues in Ukraine. President Vladimir Zelensky says a deal by the U.S. that would have forced Ukraine to pay $500 billion has been rejected. But tonight, Zelensky says there has been progress towards a peace deal. Michigan's newest Senator Alyssa Slotkin weighed in on the negotiations and what they mean to the Ukrainian people.
Well, look, I was just at the Munich Security Conference last weekend with the Vice President.
That's Michigan license plate.
And, you know, for
Lima,
me,
Charlie,
Ukraine has been fighting a war. They've been invaded by Putin.
I'm sorry, that last
and I don't like the idea of the United States cozying up to Vladimir Putin. We all know we need a deal. We all know that that war is going to end through a negotiation. But to me, that you don't negotiate by giving away, your positions to someone like Vladimir Putin. You know, I think Ronald Reagan would be rolling over in his grave.
Zelensky added that he'd even be willing to step down if it meant peace and that Ukraine would be allowed to join NATO. Both Michigan Democrats and Republicans held conventions in Detroit yesterday. They chose new leaders who will guide their parties through the rest of the year and a monumental election year in 2026. Democrats chose Curtis Hertel. He beat out Al Williams, a political activist who founded Vote Smart Detroit. A longtime lawmaker represented the Lansing area in the State House and the Senate for years before taking a job with the Whitmer administration. Republicans picked Senator Jim Runstone to lead the GOP. This surprised many people because one of his challengers, former Republican Party co-chair Meshawn Maddock, has been endorsed by President Trump. Maddock, who is someone who served as an elector for Trump in the 2020 race and is facing criminal charges for trying to overturn the results. Violence in the Middle East tonight as Israelis' tanks moved into the occupied West Bank. It's the first time in decades. Palestinian authorities are calling it a dangerous escalation. Israel says its troops will remain in parts of the territory for a year, adding that tens of thousands of Palestinians who had left their homes will not be able to return. Associated Press journalists saw several tanks move along unpaved tracks into parts of the area. Israel is deepening its crackdown on the Palestinians. It launched on the offensive in the northern West Bank on January 21st, 2 days after the current ceasefire in Gaza took hold. We're also keeping an eye on the health of Pope Francis. He's said to be in critical condition at a hospital in Rome. He went to the hospital last week and was diagnosed with pneumonia in both lungs. Now, the word is that he suffered some sort of crisis that required high flows of oxygen. His medical team says he's not out of danger, but also his condition is not life-threatening. He's scheduled to remain in the hospital through the coming week. New tonight, Ford is recalling more than 200,000 Explorers and Lincoln Aviators because their seatbelt anchors weren't secured properly. Officials say that can increase risk of injury during a crash. The recall includes the 2020 and 2021 models. Ford says it's not aware of any accidents or injuries related to the defective seatbelt assembly. Your dealer should be able to inspect your car and replace the improperly installed seatbelt for free. A Lansing Railroad Club offered Michiganders a glimpse inside model train layouts this afternoon with its annual winter open house. The event allowed people to see different types of trains and realistic terminal models after the former Detroit Fort Street Union Depot. Michael Frizzell with the club says he's been a model train maker since he was a kid and calls the event a hidden gem in the Lansing area. He also says the models operate like real railroads and gives the public an idea of how they're made.
To see all different types of trains, but they also see our talents at making mountains, bridges, and cities all around the layout. And people are enthused with seeing the trains running through these areas.
The event lasted from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Frizzell says this club is open every Thursday after 7. And when you think of lava, you usually don't think of Michigan, but ancient volcanic activity was driving force behind the state's key mineral resource and some of its landmarks. The Mid-Continent Rift system is home to the Greenstone Flow, one of the largest lava flows on Earth. Experts at Michigan State University say it was formed around 1.1 billion years ago and stretches from Detroit, Lake Superior, Ontario, Minnesota, and parts of Iowa, Missouri, and Kansas. Experts at MSU also say geologists from all over the world visit parts of the Kinowa basalt because, quote, no other place you can see such a thick lava flow that has lasted on Earth for such a long time.
From Storm Tracker 6, this is Weather First, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
Well, we're going to continue to see the cloudy skies in the forecast for the rest of the evening and as we head into the day tomorrow. So we're just going to have to make our own sunshine across the area for tonight, and even into tomorrow. Let's take a look at our Skyview network cameras. We're still seeing those cloudy skies across the area. We even saw just a little bit of some flurries across the area this morning or this afternoon as well. And we're also going to continue to see just cloudy skies for tonight. Temperatures today got into the 30s, the upper 30s, 36 degrees here in Lansing. Temperatures 35 degrees right now after a low of 20 degrees this morning. Overall, we're seeing those gray, gloomy skies. Temperatures in Grand Ledge 38 degrees, 35 degrees right now after a low of 18. Now we're also seeing a beautiful sunset in Jackson. Temperatures right now are into the 30s after 36 degree high and a 21 degree low. And we're also seeing quiet conditions down into Hillsdale, 34 degrees right now now after a high of 37 and a low of about 23 degrees. Now we're going to continue to see those cloudy skies for the next couple of days, but take a look at satellite radar. Well, it looks like we had some snow showers, but thankfully none of these actually reached the ground. That's because we have an area of high pressure system that's allowing enough of a shield from those snow showers that none of these actually made it to the ground. You could have seen just maybe a few flakes here and there, but thankfully this high pressure system is slowly starting to move to the east, and we're going to continue to stay dry from this system. Overall for tonight, temperatures are going to remain into the 30s with mostly cloudy skies, and our winds are going to start to shift from the west, southwest to the south, and that's going to allow a lot more moist, warm air to move into the forecast. Tomorrow we'll see temperatures back into the 40s, and we'll continue to see mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures will be well above average for tomorrow as well. So we'll keep an eye on the forecast over the next couple of days. We'll continue to see our temperatures warming into the 30s and 40s up ahead. We're going to see partly cloudy skies for Tuesday, 47 degrees. Temperatures do stay into the 40s as we do see the chance for some rain showers moving in for Wednesday. Could see a few flurries in the mix as well as we head into Thursday, but the week after next, that's when we are going to continue to see temperatures into the 40s with off and on rain showers up ahead. So again, it looks like we're starting to diminish that the snowpack that we have on the ground.
Sounds great to me. I'm so excited. I can't wait for sunshine and no snow.
Me too.
Well, thank you, Kelsey.